Hey guys, Dan Hood here, Big DH 2000. Sometime back, my brother's birthday went on by, and as always, I was still building what I was going to make him for his birthday. Finally got it finished. I got a few minutes today to talk about it before all the family descends on us. My wife's actually celebrating a birthday with where the second digit has a zero in it. So we got a lot of family coming into town, so I'm going to be pretty busy this weekend, but I figured I'd get this going and get it done so that I could put this up for give this to my brother when he comes over this weekend for the party. Anyway, sometime back, you'll know my brother went through a whole lot of cancer treatment and things like that. He went through one session, and we had hoped it had done something, but we found out that it did little or nothing, and he had to go through a second, far more grueling system. Between those two times, when he knew he had to do the second round, but hadn't quite gotten to it, there was one day that was real nice and pretty. So he grabbed his kids and they just went out and they had a day together, he and the kids. Because of him not being allowed to get sick or anything, it obviously had to be someplace that was somewhat isolated, which means they went on a hike. During the hike, they found a tree branch that had fallen down, cut a fork out of it, and my brother knows how to cut forks long so that they can dry. Brought that home. He wrote the date on it, on the end of it, and they brought that home. And you'll see, if you look through my videos, you'll notice that I made a slingshot for him out of that and burned the date in the side of the fork for him. Well, the little piece that was left was about this long, about 3.5 inches long. And, it had his writing on it. And, I don't know, you just, something like that you set up on one of the tool shelves, or one of the shelves in your shop, and you just kind of leave it there thinking, I might could use that someday. So you move on, Well, it came time to do his birthday present. And I looked at that and I said, man, I've got an idea for that. So anyway, here's what I came up with. Okay? It's a knife for my brother. You can see the piece of wood. It sticks through. This is Damascus steel. Got a buddy who folds Damascus steel that gave it to me. This is resin to fill out the handle, because the one piece wasn't quite big enough and I didn't want to ruin it too much. And you can see that the wood sticks through in various places. Now, a couple of things. My brother and I, let me turn this so I can show it to you better. My brother and I grew up in India. We grew up on a hospital compound. My mom was a doctor there. My dad at first ran all the construction of a good part of the hospital, and then he ran the hospital after that. Well, we had a lot of retired Gurkhas as our guards for the facility. They guarded the front gate. For those who don't know, Gurkhas are real impressive fighting guys. They're soldiers from up north, especially in the Burma area. They don't have a hilt. They consider the knob the hilt because it stops the fingers from moving. So that's why you'll notice I never put a hilt on this knife. I just put a Gurkha knob in because my brother would know that. Okay. Another thing is, I really like fighting knives, and this is meant to be a fighting knife. Not that my brother will ever have to use it, but if you ever seen a Spanish stiletto, they open up, they've got this shape, maybe a little thinner, and then they always lean back a little bit when you're holding them. If you hold this square up, it actually leans back a little bit. Allows you to keep your wrist further forward, keep the knife in check in the right place. It also allows you, when you're holding it like this, to defend yourself a little better. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but anyway, that's why the knife, if you look, it seems like the tip is set up. It's not straight out, it's like this. There's a reason for that. The numbers, the date that my brother wrote is on this end of the wood piece. Now, the resin ended up with a few bubbles in it, so it's hard to read that date. My brother will know it's there. But, you know, in the end, I was kind of, yeah, at first I was disappointed by the bubbling, but then I realized, you know, I had always intended to do it this way and all that. The knife shows scarring, okay? You notice that the resin finish is here, but there was a piece that stuck out here. I trimmed down to the wood, which still has bark on it. It also has one or two spots that didn't sand out right for the shape, or didn't sand, that I didn't sand all the way or chipped out. You also notice there was chipped out wood from where my brother cut it off. Okay, there's a little bit of wood showing here. Okay, the whole idea is scarring. Okay, the thing is, for those who, I think it's hard to find anybody these days who hasn't been impacted by cancer in some way, shape, or form. You either have had it yourself, or you've had a very close family member who's had something to do with cancer, at the very least a cancer scare. It's a nasty disease, folks, and I'll be honest with you, it scars everybody in the family, you know. And there was a time where we weren't sure my brother was going to see this last birthday he had this past December. So, you know, scarring, okay? The handle's scarred. There's bubbles here to show that the resin didn't come out perfect. You know what? My brother still struggles with some physical ailments that are left behind from all the, if not the cancer, the treatment of the cancer. Some of them are healing. Some of them will probably never heal properly, okay? The bubbles will never go away. But underneath was still my brother, you know, and underneath is still still the date he put on here, okay? That hasn't changed. Not sure what else to say except happy birthday, brother. I hope you like it. I'll box this up. And for those of you wondering, I don't even bother to make a sheath. And some of you are probably thinking, well, that's awfully dangerous. No. You guys, if you know my brother, you know he's a very fine leather craftsman himself. He really does well with leather. Especially very rugged, rough, like camping style leather. He'll have this sheathed up before his next birthday, and depending on whether he carries it, he may just prop it up on something for a show. I don't know. We'll let him decide, and he can go and proceed from there. Anyway, hope you guys like it. Let me see if I can get this up close. That's the one problem with making this camera face me. It doesn't do very well when it comes to focusing. You can see the Damascus incredibly sharp, and then of course me being the crazy fool that I am got out my Japanese whetstones and went even further. It's sanded to 10,000 grit, wet sanded and wiped down. The wood is wiped in tung oil, about 14 coats of tung oil, and after I got the tung oil, then I wiped all the excess off around here with WD-40, and the WD-40 also shines it up, and then you just rub it from there on out. It's got my fingerprints all over it right now, so it's a little messy. I'll wipe it down before I box it up. Take care, guys. Hope you like it.